Hi everybody, Chris Titley here and welcome to Scoreboard.
This episode is powered by Swyftx, Australia's top-rated crypto exchange and proudly homegrown. Just like many of the athletes and business leaders we feature on Scoreboard.
Hi, it's Chris Titley here, and on today's episode of Scoreboard the podcast, I'm joined by Dayna Finn. Dayna, thank you so much for being part of this series.
Thanks for having me.
Dayna, we're sitting here on Friday the 12th of September. You do have a game coming up against the Gold Coast this weekend. A big game, but before we get into that, the last two rounds, you have been on absolute fire. Describe how you're feeling right now.
Feeling pretty good. I think just overall, I suppose from a team perspective, the growth we've made, I suppose probably complements my role on the team, and I'm contributing, I suppose, more than I ever have. And then from a personal perspective, it's kind of off the back of a strong preseason and probably the grind of the last 2 years. Starting from the bottom, I suppose, and getting to where I am now. So it's nice to see that growth personally, but also the growth as a team is definitely complementing that. So it's been good, and hopefully we can continue to, I suppose, show some strong performances going forward.
Yeah, with the two games in a row where you've sort of added up to about 60 disposals in total, you've got some confidence now. Is there something that you can attribute to that? You're feeling comfortable now in the competition?
Yeah, for sure. I think the main thing, I spoke to someone the other day, is probably confidence in my role and in my ability, in like trusting my teammates, knowing everyone's style, being able to, I suppose, bounce off each other much more. Confidence is probably the main thing, and I take that off probably a strong preseason, and my first two games kind of just getting comfortable, I suppose. Confidence is good, and taking that into the next few games, and I think it was good to back up a good performance, which is always a positive thing as well.
And Dayna, from a confidence point of view and sport point of view, you've always been a confident person, broadly speaking, playing sport as in the juniors?
Yeah, for sure. And I think that was probably one of the biggest challenges, is coming here probably knocks your confidence a little bit, because you are the big fish at home when you come to being the small fish here. Learning how to do to play a new sport essentially is definitely probably the biggest challenge I've had as an athlete so far in my career, but probably one that has made me a better person and player because of it. You can sometimes, I suppose, get comfortable in your role at home and always strive to be better, but when you play the sport for years upon years, things just come to you naturally. So kind of building up that confidence has been good, and finally seeing it come through now.
And the road to Australian rules as a sport, you came from basketball. Do you want to talk about your love of basketball, and then I suppose how that came about?
Yeah, I'm always asked which is my favourite sport. I think playing Gaelic football and basketball. Probably my love stems and always will be with basketball. It was probably I kind of started playing basketball after football at home, and just loved the game, the adrenaline of it. Kind of small team, but then when I came through, I suppose, the ranks, played a bit with Mayo at home, and then got the opportunity to come here. Kind of just came to me. I initially would have planned to, after my masters, to go and play in Europe basketball, and then this just came up, and I guess everything happens for a reason, and I said, why not? I'll go for a kick, and it definitely wasn't the greatest kick, and I suppose the opportunity to come across the world, learn a new sport, and as I talked about, like the challenge of learning something brand new again, has definitely been probably the biggest leap I've made as an athlete. So I talked the other day about, in my first year, like, definitely didn't love the game because it was a challenge. It was probably that love-hate relationship, and then last year kind of found my feet, had a much better season, and as this year then probably just loving the game, and I'm comfortable and confident in it.
I'm keen to hear your very first impressions of Australian rules.
I definitely compared it to Gaelic football, and I was like, oh my god, this is so stop start, and I think from the growth the game has made this year, and as a team here, we want to play fast. The holding the ball rule has, I suppose, taken a bit of that like stop start away from it. So I remember watching like the Irish girls out here and being like, God, like I don't know, like they just tackle and they get back up and they throw the ball up, and sure, geez, like they're not playing, like, you know. But I, in my first year, absolutely loved training. And then when I got to games, I was like, because I was new to the game as well, didn't understand it fully and wasn't, I suppose, good enough, essentially. I found it, I just found it hard to get into things. But now it's a great game, and yeah, I love it, yeah.
What about the bounce of the ball?
Yeah, the bounce of ball. I like, again, at the start I was like, oh my God, this is so unpredictable. Like you're going like full force at a ball and just bounce the other way and your opponent gets it. Like whereas at home, like you're winning that ball regardless. So that was a huge adjustment. And the bounce of the ball can go in your favor sometimes and other times it can't. But I'm definitely much better at reading it now, that's for sure.
Here at Scoreboard, we talk about life after sport. We talk about what's next, as well as obviously focusing on Plan A, which is becoming being a professional athlete and becoming the best version of yourself during that time. You've also completed a Bachelor of Arts and a Masters of Education and becoming a teacher.
Yeah.
Talk about that journey.
Yeah. So just done my Bachelor of Arts through university, and then kind of just had a passion for teaching and like working with kids, and had done a few, I suppose that probably stemmed from like doing a bit of coaching in camps and just given to the next generation. And then my subjects, geography and Spanish, I travel a lot. I lived in Valencia for 6 months when I was 19, 20, which was another great experience. And then just my love for the world and travel, I guess, stems from the geography part of it. So I took that and done my master's in Trinity and played basketball, another phenomenal experience. And then when I finished my master's, came straight here, and I actually went home. I've been home the last 2 seasons, off seasons, and have just taught at home because I can't teach here. But so that's been great. And then another thing to add to that was probably Carlton Respects this year has been really good. Myself and Harriet Cordner and Aaron Fitzpatrick have been diving into that. So that's been fun to be in schools in Australia and primary schools. Just a different dynamic totally to the secondary school, but loving that as well.
You want to dive into the Carlton Respects program a little bit in terms of who you're targeting, I suppose, and some of the objectives and why it's important to you?
So we do the Road to Respects program in primary schools. We facilitate workshops to kids, and I suppose the whole theme of it is respect from a footy club sense and from like a classroom sense, and just in general respect in the world, and cover gender stereotypes, managing emotions, a bit of bullying and being a good buddy. And I think the feedback from these lessons that the teachers and the kids in the classrooms give is second to none. And I suppose having that extra edge of it being a Carlton Football Club program, the kids love it, and the feedback is very, very good.
I'm keen to understand some of your values and the Carlton values and what makes a good team, I suppose, and teamwork, and what some of the principles that you've held with you through a long time to where you are now, being the best at what you're doing right now.
Probably any team I've been a part of. I think probably, as any athlete will say, being resilient in every aspect is probably a really big thing. And I think I found being a professional athlete and starting a new sport, my resilience has definitely definitely got better from coming here. It's definitely been challenged as well. And then probably that trust and honesty amongst the team. They're probably my kind of 3 major ones. We're always going to be united if we have those 3 things amongst our team. And I think you can pull on loads and loads of values that really shine in a team. But yeah, if we're resilient, we've that trust and honesty and show great teamwork. That's one thing that's shining through in our team at the moment for sure.
I'm keen to understand where the word fun comes into being a professional athlete. Are you having fun? Is it always fun, or is there some very serious times where you kind of go, "Oh, this is it's pretty tough"?
God, no. I think I always love a challenge. And yeah, a challenge is fun to me. Don't get me wrong. There's definitely times where you contemplate, oh my God, one more run, or when I'm at home in the off season in winter and it's raining, pouring, it's freezing cold. Yeah, I definitely question things a few times. But I think probably again going back to like seeing the growth in myself throughout those times, and then like I'm having the best fun I've had since coming here at the moment, and my preseason was so fun, and I'm surrounded by great teammates who are great crack, and me myself and the Irish draw that crack out of them sometimes. So yeah, no, it's good.
You mentioned teammates, and before the chat, you mentioned also you're living with Matty Hendry, who's also come on to Scoreboard. How's the football dynamic in that household, friendship, etc.? And do you guys switch off and not talk footy sometimes?
Yeah, for sure. We've lived together now the last 3 seasons, so this is our third season, and yeah, we get on like a house on fire. And I think just conversation flows whether footy comes up or not. It doesn't kind of yeah, it doesn't matter. But it's sometimes you could say it's a good thing that two footy players from the same club live together, and sometimes it's a bad thing because it's so footy orientated. But we're good at switching off and have plenty of distractions and friends, and I suppose can relate that bit more with being Mads being interstate and me being yeah, obviously international. But yeah, no, it's great.
And from an international point of view, the friends and family back in Ireland, do they log on and check your stats and check your games and send you text messages, etc.?
Yeah, they definitely do. Yeah. I think they're tremendous support, and I would be lost without them. There's times where I've definitely days where I feel here a bit homesick, if there's no occasion, or if I'm just exhausted after training and I want a home cooked dinner. But yeah, they're always following up. Dad and Mom would be they're up at 5:30 this weekend to watch the game, and yeah, it's great. They're tremendous support.
Maybe the global game. I'm curious, Dayna, around goal setting. It's something I talk about on this podcast in regards to whether people are goal setters or not. We've had a range of answers. There's absolutely no right or wrong. I'm curious to know whether you're a goal setter, and if so, some of your goals you might want to share.
Yeah, definitely at the start of every year, set my goals. Probably more of a short-term goal setter rather than a long-term, just given like we have like I suppose a short-term season and a pre-season there is the same length as it. But yeah, setting goals I suppose from a sporting point of view, but also from a personal point of view. So yeah, at the start of the year, diary. I'm actually not much of a diary writer. I'll write down my notes in a diary and refer back to them maybe at the end of each month. And then once I start my season here, catching up with a coach and making them a bit more specific to my role on the field and off the field in the footy club. But yeah, I think definitely essential if you want to be a high performer is having some sort of goal or goals to reflect back on and see progress on. And I found coming here, definitely that was one thing I probably had to switch up is not having airy goals or lofty goals going into a season. They had to be specific because the growth was definitely starting from zero and bringing that up. So
Dayna, you touched on an interesting point there around your role within the team, and it's something I touch on in this podcast in regards to your individual skills and your training and doing everything individually, but then knowing your role in the team. How have you found that in the teams that you've played in? And now, progressing a couple of games in, 60 disposals, people are going, now it's almost expected, not expected, of course, but almost like it's progressing upwards and maybe the roles changing somewhat?
Yeah, I suppose my first year here, I was kind of off the half back, finding my feet essentially the whole first season, and finding a position. And year two here, then played a bit on the wing. Obviously, played the most of the season on the wing, and was comfortable in that position, but still getting to know my role, my teammates, and how I could best impact the team and the play. And then, yeah, this year, I think it probably comes back to the confidence point I raised earlier. Just confidence in my role and my ability. And then just my skills by foot and hand are much stronger, and that definitely helps up and down the ground, and probably fitter than I ever have been. So all those things, I suppose, coming together, and backing up performances is probably, and being consistent as an individual in my role and as a team as well, is probably the main aim this season.
Just on the fitness point of view, is there something different that you've done this year than other years? Or are you sort of keeping a gamified leaderboard on how many Ks you run a week and all that sort of stuff?
No, I wouldn't say nothing different. I'm very I suppose disciplined, like any athlete, probably a bit crazy in that sense. But I think just the style of football that we're playing has allowed me to, I suppose, get more sprint, and I suppose grow as an athlete in that sense. And don't get me wrong, I was fit last year, but I think the style we want to play just allows for us to open up the game, and just feel pretty good, and have been injury free since last season. It's great.
Looking ahead, if we repeat this podcast, let's say 3 years' time, 2028, where would you like Dayna Finn to be and have done?
I'd like to have won a premiership with Carlton Football Club for sure. And can see myself, I suppose, playing footy. That's probably where I'd see myself. And then probably outside of that, maybe a bit of teaching on this front if we get visas and all that sorted.
Yeah.
Because I think the purpose away from football is definitely one I value.
Now, there's a couple of questions we always ask our athletes. One is the scoreboard moment, which is a moment in your life which is very visible, and it's almost like an image, and you can remember it like yesterday. And then from that moment, things changed in your life.
God. If I talk about probably coming out here, probably the weekend that I kind of caught up with Carlton. I suppose went into that weekend meeting the GM of Carlton at the time in Ireland, and went into that really open-minded. Was kind of like, oh, we'll see, like, yeah, sure, I'll meet them. Went for a kick, hadn't touched the ball, and 5 days later I was signing a contract to move across the world. So that was probably a big moment in my career, and probably some would say probably a scary or surprising moment that I didn't see myself being in. But definitely grateful for all of that.
Now, we do have a sponsor. We've actually got two sponsors on Scoreboard. The first sponsor and primary sponsor is Swyftx, which is Australia's most trusted cryptocurrency platform with over 1.2 million users in Australia and New Zealand. And as part of that sponsorship and their new campaign, Where Can Crypto Take You?, I ask our guests about their sporting bucket list, an event that they haven't attended live in the world of sport that you would love to attend. Dayna Finn, what's your sporting bucket list event?
Yeah, I haven't been to a WNBA game, so that's definitely one of my bucket list games.
I have. In 2005, I went to a New York Liberty game. It was awesome. And New York Liberty won it last year under Sandy Brodello, Aussie coach.
Yeah, unreal.
WNBA game. It's going nuts this year. Over 3 million people have attended a live game in the WNBA this year and breaking all records. So if you can get over there and add to that list at some point in time, that would be amazing. And Dayna, we also have a second partner here in Scoreboard, and that is PocketSmith. PocketSmith is the personal finance app for the household CFO, the one keeping the budget in check, paying the bills and kicking big goals. Over 80,000 Aussies use PocketSmith to track their spending see their net worth, and plan ahead. Dayna Finn, I'm curious, do you budget?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, that was probably one of my goals at the start of the year is minding my money more. But my parents always say, spend your money on yourself now because you'll be long enough spent it on someone else. And I say, have you spent loads of money on me? So, which they definitely have.
There you go. So
Yeah.
PocketSmith's out there as a budgeting app if you wanted to check it out to be the CFO of the household. Now, we've got a little bit of a trivia before we get to one final question. And this is a new segment we do. It is AFLW, so we're going to do some AFLW trivia. I've got 3 questions for you, Dayna. You ready for the trivia?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. Question 1. Which club won the inaugural AFLW Premiership in 2017?
Oh my gosh. I can't tell you. I'm going to guess North Melbourne.
No, it's the Adelaide Crows, and I'm curious to know what you were doing in 2017.
I was in my bachelor's degree and I was playing basketball. Yeah.
There you go. So probably not a huge amount of AFLW focus in 2017, so it's okay to get that one wrong. Now, the second question is, who was the first player to kick 50 career goals in the AFLW?
I actually think I know. Is it from Carlton? Is it Darcy?
Yes, it's from Carlton, and you are correct.
Nice. There we have that.
There you go. You better have got that one right. Otherwise, there might be a few people in the Carlton club going, right. You need to get better on your knowledge. Now, question number 3 to get 2 out of 3. Let's go. Which AFLW player has won the most League Best and Fairest awards? And I preface this to give you a little bit of a hint. They're both pre-2020.
They're not in the game anymore. Is it Aaron Phillips?
Aaron Phillips twice, 2017 and 2019. You held it, Dayna. 2 out of 3. Pretty good for someone that probably didn't know much about AFLW 10 years ago.
I'm usually not good at this.
Probably 10 years ago, maybe. Now, one final question before we leave. Some advice to some young girls out there that are playing footy now or playing basketball, whatever it might be, and the dream for them is potentially becoming a professional athlete. What's the advice you'd give them?
Yeah, I think definitely chase after that growth and probably don't fear is good. I think I had definitely a lot of fear coming here, but embrace the challenge. It's, I suppose, sport is temporary. Finishes early in our ages, but yeah, definitely just embrace the challenges and get okay with being uncomfortable. And probably the biggest thing I took out of coming to Australia is being uncomfortable and seeing that grow now into being a comfortable, confident athlete. Go after the challenge, embrace it, and know that fear is definitely a good thing, and step into your uncomfortable challenges.
Fear is a good thing. I'm interested. I'm going to touch on that for a second. What do you do sometimes when you are fearful or you're uncertain? Is there some techniques that you use? Is there some people that you ask? Is there mentors, etc.? It's something to get. Obviously, it's quite powerful, but you have to kind of get through it.
Yeah, one thing that definitely worked for me was I ask loads of questions, probably too many. So just if I'm ever unsure or ever have a bit of that fear, anxiety in me about whether it's on or off the field here, I'll always lean on the support around me, and find those resources that will help me, I suppose, thrive. So I think embracing it. Fear is probably a strong word and people tend to run away from it, but leaning on the resources and the people around you to get better as an athlete in person is the step to that.
Fabulous. Curiosity is one of our values at Scoreboard, and having a curious mind and asking lots of questions can help at opening that mouth, and talking to people sometimes helps as well in terms of when you're bottling up feelings. Dayna Finn, thank you so much for being on Scoreboard, the podcast today. Congratulations on your success thus far in the AFLW and your team, Carlton, and how they are going. I wish you all the best for the coming season and the game on the weekend against the Gold Coast. Look forward to following your progress and supporting where I can.
Thanks a million, Chris. Thanks for having me.